when I was put here last year, I thought the first thing I wanted to do was to try and find out what makes the community's heartbeat, what the needs are, and so on. The best way of doing that is talking to people. And as you know, being pioneers, you go in a place and we've come in cold with no team or anything to work with. Wanting to start something and have this vision for a sort of listening service and prayer ministry, which has developed into a full listening service. And we just...
We said, do you do much of the prayer stuff, or is it?
Yeah, we definitely do, but we are a listening service, and that's what we offer primarily. We pray all the time while we're listening for them, and of course we have a prayer before we start the session and when we close the session, and we remember.
Do you do that with everyone then?
We don't often pray with everybody. We will just pray for them while we're listening to them.
Yeah.
The prayer at the beginning of so if we open at 10, we'll pray at 5 to 10.
Yeah, sure, right, yeah.
And then we'll pray when we close.
Yeah.
And we'll remember the people that we've listened to through the day. And occasionally it's going to feel right to say to somebody, we'd like to pray for you now, or we'll keep in our prayers. But generally, you know, we're very careful, and we just...
Yeah.
Depends where people are at with their faith as well. We never just say to anybody, we're going to clap hands on you and pray for healing, that sort of thing. It's been varied. You noticed the blue sofa that we're sitting on, and when we decided we were going to do the listening service, we thought basically a local vicar was using this settee, the very same settee, once a week to take outside his church for a 4-week run, and he got the idea from the Kleenex advert,
yeah,
where the guy just gets the sofa out in the street, and he gets... You don't know whether it's all actors, it's probably all actors on that, but he gets a variety of different people getting on the sofa, some are laughing, some are crying and chatting about all sorts of things. And we thought, we'll see what happens. It's not going to be quite the same dynamic because we're actually renting a space and people coming in. And I think the response was, which is what you were asking me, a lot of people would wander past thinking, what on earth is that? You know? And especially the first few weeks we didn't have enough signs up and thing explaining what we do. But that was good in some ways because people would actually ask us.
Yeah.
You're getting more conversations through people asking you what you do than people walking in with a specific need. Because it's a way of them retaining the control, and they're asking you what you're doing, and we can be standing sometimes out on the mall there, outside, and you get 3/4 of an hour with somebody having a chat. That kind of response is brilliant. We've had quite a few local Christians who've heard what we're doing come along, and they come to encourage us and come to pray with us, and sometimes they come with their own issues and things, and we listen to them. So there's a bit of doing, as I said, pastoral ministry for local churches. It isn't really what we set out to do, but as I said, it's valuable work, and I'm sure it's part of God's plan for what we're doing. But along the way, we are coming across people that you wouldn't ever encounter outside of the church, which is brilliant, and that's what we're here for. But I do think there is a bit of a thing about people being seen to come forward for help, and that a bit is a barrier to some people. And I think particularly for some of the older generations, who strangely, some of them will walk past and read the sign and shake their heads almost in disgust.
Really?
And I think that might be something to do with the culture that they were brought up in.
That you don't talk.
Yeah. Particularly wartime and post-war culture. You just get your head down. You don't wash your dirty linen in public, and it's not good to talk about personal things. And maybe there's something in that, but we do get a few senior people coming in and talking. So, but they're the ones, if you notice, that look very, very puzzled sometimes about us being here. But I don't really know. I think a lot of younger couples just have got the old head in the sand thing, and they're not good at talking about things until it becomes a real, issue and explodes, as it were. So I think they're just not good at coming forward for I see it very much as an evolving thing. In fact, everything that we begin, we allow for that. I would like to have, my thoughts are along the lines of developing it into sort of a healthy living centre and include the spiritual aspect in it. And maybe get a bigger place that would allow us to do other things, including talking about food and cooking and life choices and all sorts of things like that. And would still include the listening service and so on. It's very varied. We've had teenage lads in it, 18, 19 years old. We've had well, people of both sexes and all ages with all sorts of issues. Domestic violence to terminal illnesses and bereavement and things like that. And funny enough, the thing that hardly anybody, in fact I would say nobody, comes to talk about is money. Really? In the middle of a recession. Yeah, it's amazing. I can't understand that. Maybe they talk about the issues that are raised, that are caused by not having enough money. Yeah. Maybe they talk about, you know, relationship problems and stuff like that. But they never seem to relate it back to money, and that's surprising at a time where.
Do you think it's maybe just a taboo? But
well, it is, yeah.
No, it's
probably. Yeah. We do get a lot of people coming with depression and things like that. You know, people who feel isolated in the community, and we're a ready friend for them. Yeah, and that's brilliant. So we do get you know, quite a few like that. We have a little group. They're not a group in as such as they don't relate to each other, but there's a number of people that come to us regularly. Yeah. One is, the first is, don't try and copy immediately what somebody else is doing, even if it looks like a brilliant idea. I would be happy to support anybody who wanted to try this, but I think what's important is for people to spend time to get to grips with their own community and to pray about what their opportunities are there. Something like this is a good idea, but it needs praying through thoroughly, and part of that will be seeing what opportunities there are and what venues and places and things can be done. But I really think in some ways I think we've got to try and find a way of being in the community and genuinely being in the community in a way that gets alongside people. And this has done well so far. Well, there have been periods where there's been lulls and so on. Generally, we're connecting with people, and it's brilliant. But nevertheless, we have created our own space, even though it is in one sense in the community. It's our territory, and they have to come and enter it, which leaves me asking, well, is that really what, you know, the best way of engaging with people? Whatever ways you can find that keep you in the community, on their territory, it is worth exploring. But there are probably who knows, infinite number of ways that you could look at engaging with the community at a social level. You need to try and find out what the social issues are where you are, and then see what's already going on to be able, you know, to try to meet that, and then see how you can perhaps partner with